kNOwBOX Dance presents Dance Behind the Screen, Process Production and Social Media. Hey knowers, welcome to our podcast. We are kNOwBOX Dance, a social media-based company. We strive to say no to the box. We connect interdisciplinary art, technology, and artists to re-envision the process of art making and sharing. Tune into our first episode to get to know your hosts.
Hello, and thank you for tuning in to our very first episode of Dance Behind the Screen podcast. My name is Martheya Nygaard, and I am one of the co-creators of kNOwBOX Dance, a digital dance company.
Hello, I'm YeaJean Choi. We're excited to be entering this new digital space. The purpose of our first episode is to share who we are and what you can expect from our future episodes.
So YeaJean and I met while earning our Master of Fine Arts in Dance at Texas Women's University in Denton, Texas. This is when our overlapping interests in making art that challenge contemporary and modern dance aesthetics really led us to becoming close friends and peers.
Right. I was working as the dance department's digital media coordinator and Martheya as the department publicity coordinator. We were both obsessed with how technology influenced our relationship to dance. We started brainstorming after many cups of coffee what we were going to do after graduation, right, Martheya?
Exactly. And thank God for coffee. But yeah, that's when we came up with the question, how can artists have access to stay connected, make new work, and share work globally? And from there, that's really how kNOwBOX Dance was born. We launched our digital dance company January 1st, 2018.
Wow, it's been 1 year.
Wow, it's crazy.
It is. We strive to say no to the box. And for us, the box symbolizes the boundaries and confines that limit connections. We pursue experimental production and collaboration with other artists in order to create, discuss, and advocate for art. The vision of kNOwBOX Dance is to use the digital space and alternative formats to collaborate and archive art. We created social media-based evolving laboratories to help us facilitate a global presence for artists to make, capture, and share art. Martheya, could you explain more about evolving laboratories, please?
Yeah, of course. So essentially, our evolving laboratories are that each month we have a new dance-related topic. So if you follow us on social media at kNOwBOX Dance, you can actually tune in each Wednesday and we will share a recommended resource, or you can participate in our interactive projects.
Through our evolving laboratories, we have made connections from all over the world without ever meeting face to face. We're so excited that our evolving labs helped us find a solution to our initial question. How can artists have access to stay connected, make new work, and share work globally?
And we just want to take a second to thank all of those of you who have already participated in our evolving laboratories. We really hope that you continue to stay connected with us as artists through the digital space. And this is really what leads us to why we wanted to start a podcast. We questioned a gap in the digital space, in terms of artists discussing how social media impacted their art making and sharing. So, to answer this question, we knew we needed to expand our team here at kNOwBOX.
Yes, we wanted to bring on people who could offer a different perspective on dance.
So, without further ado, we would like to pass it off to our two new team members.
Woohoo!
You are listening to kNOwBOX Dance.
Welcome, you guys. We're just so excited to have you both as part of our team.
Woohoo!
And so we thought, too, that you, the listeners, would want to know how we all met and what our dance research interests are. Azaria, would you start us off?
Sure, of course. So I'm originally from Marietta, Georgia, and I met everyone at Texas Women's University in Denton, Texas. So we were there for a grad school. Martheya and I came in. We were in the same cohort. YeaJean was a cohort above us, and Reyna came in the year after us. So it seems like once we all met, we really clicked, and we've kept that connection ever since.
Yeah.
So for me, I'm interested in Afro-diasporic dance and Black modern dance, as well as pedagogy. What about you, YeaJean?
Yeah, I'm from South Korea. As a dance maker and a mover, I'm working on architecting the space through use of site-specific methods. As you all know, I'm not interested in just bring my choreography to the given space and use the space only for the day of performance. I'm more interested in what is in the space and how I use the elements in the space to generate movement with different bodies. So space is one of my dancer. My performance shows the blueprint of my choreography, which includes dancers' movement, elements in the space, and reinterpreted meaning of the space. How about you, Reyna? What's your interest?
Okay, so everybody's saying where they're from, so I'll start off with that too. Okay, well, I am from Mexico, Chihuahua, but I moved to the U.S. when I was 6 years old, and so I've been here ever since then. But as a choreographer and a performer, I am just really interested in sound and how vocal expressions can be transected to movement. And as a pedagogue, I'm really interested in developing new somatic approaches in the classroom that can be practiced by students in lower income schools to enhance their learning skills, have higher graduation rates, and attend college. But what about you, Martheya?
Oh, that's exciting, Reyna, to hear about how your research has really come to fruition since I've graduated. And I'm currently working on cultivating the concept of distortion. And I'm framing this as an aesthetic philosophy, if you will, by exploring femininity and societal expectations, creating and performing dance for stage, specific sites, installations, and film. But for me, with my art, I really want to challenge and expand notions of contemporary dance. And this is exactly what initially fueled some of my conversations in grad school with YeaJean for starting kNOwBOX, and then later too with Azaria and Reyna. And this is really how we began to frame how dance could look now in the digital space. And it's just crazy, just like Azaria mentioned earlier, how we've been able to stay connected. I just wanted to share kind of a silly anecdote. My dad always tells me that lightning will strike, meaning that when I know something is right, it feels like lightning will strike. And I just feel like when all of us met and connected, and the fact that we stayed in touch and stayed so driven and wanting to work together, that I feel like that's our lightning. Our lightning is us. And we're just so excited to start this podcast and be able to connect with you, the listeners.
Yeah, definitely.
Don't forget to say no to the box.
Now that you know a little bit about us and how we all connected, I wanted to pose a few questions that are really at the heart of why we are starting Dance Behind the Screen podcast. Why do we think social media is important to the dance field?
Ooh, Azaria.
I can take this one. Yeah.
Azaria.
So for me personally, I think social media is so powerful and such a unique tool that can connect people intergenerationally and people who are professionals in the field and people who don't dance at all. So professionals can use it to get people to come to their concerts. Beginner dancers can look to others for inspiration, and people who have no interest in practicing the form at all can still stay connected to the field at large.
Ooh, can I add on to that?
Yeah.
Too? So I, like you, agree with all of that, but also it's like culture is really important, and it's always been important. And I feel like that's another way for people to have access to all the different type of cultural dances that are happening around the world. Especially like, I'm from Mexico, YeaJean is from Korea. And it just like keeps us connected to where we're from,
Very true.
I want to say that's like our umbilical cord from where we came from. But I think that's really important.
Yeah, good metaphor.
I think it's also like I use personally Instagram a lot, and it's kind of how I promote myself. Social media, digital space is kind of my free space. And the followers who see my videos or pictures, I sometimes post improvisational practice videos. Sometimes I post some of my choreography pictures. And whoever follow me, they can like it, they can dislike it, they can give me comments. If they want to know more about my project, they send me direct message. So it's kind of talkback section after performance, like choreographer and audience talkback section. So I really enjoyed it. It's kind of my free stage.
So what you're saying too is like, oh, can you talk a little bit about like all the platforms that you use? Because I know that you said you talked about Instagram, Facebook, but what other things do you use as your social media platform, YeaJean?
I use Instagram mostly, and I also use Facebook for kNOwBOX. But I also ask my students to use Instagram and part of their assignments.
Ooh, okay. So you're integrating this into a pedagogical like atmosphere.
Right. Like for instance, my contemporary technique class, we have hashtag each 2 weeks. For instance, hashtag sensing and sharing, they learn contact improvisation. They just practice it. Hashtag we love floor. We never come up from the floor. Cool. We use a lot of floor exercises. So, like you post some like 2 or 3 sentences, and then to sum up, you just hashtag some word.
And they can see each other's at that point when it's tagged through the hashtag. Very interesting.
Right.
I might have to steal that from you.
You can. So at the end of the semester, they have their own terms, elements in contemporary dance. So when you click that one, you can see all of our 1 semester materials that we did in our class. So I think it's really good because they also love social media. They can promote themselves. Once I said you need to post your video, they start to rehearse to post their video. So I think it's really good tool.
Good. What about you, Martheya?
Yeah, I was going to just say, I totally agree with what all of you are saying. I think for me, the biggest positive, if you will, and the impact, the importance to the dance field is really this notion of accessibility and appreciation. Because what I'm finding is, as I'm teaching dance appreciation courses, is that most of my students, how they're consuming knowledge is really through social media platforms. Because even now, some of the major media companies, they use social media to connect with their audiences. So I feel like this is the same way for dance. How are we receiving knowledge about dance? And this is through social media. And I feel like Azaria mentioned about this really exciting approach, connecting generations. I think it too offers people who perhaps don't have any experience in dance to learn to appreciate dance by seeing it. So I know for me in my classes, I always encourage my students to follow different dance platforms that I think do a really great job in terms of being inspirational or just sharing little clips of dance works. So that way they're having this news of dance starting to seep into their social media stream. So they're able to really, stay connected and to have a more expanded worldview. So it's not just what they're seeing in the class from what they're learning from me, but it's also what they're seeing through their social media.
Yeah, that's very good.
That's good, yeah.
Can I pose another question?
Sure.
So going off of that, what would you guys say to people who say they're not into social media? How can they stay connected through these platforms if they don't tag themselves as a social media person?
Maybe I think you can just follow some people that you're interested in. It can be Instagram or go to some Facebook page or find some website, go to YouTube channel, try to start looking their videos or pictures or readings first. If you have some pressure to post your own pictures or videos, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, and I think too, for me, I do have a few students in my classes who say, well, I'm not into social media. And so I just ask them the question, okay, well, how do you like to learn? Talking about this notion of visual, auditory, kinesthetic. And for me, I'm a visual learner. So I like to say, if you're not into social media, how do you like to consume knowledge? I like to consume knowledge visually. So Instagram is really the platform for me. Perhaps for you, it's more about words. You like reading things. You like quick prompts. So maybe Twitter is really the platform for you. And I feel like Facebook definitely kind of tackles all of them. And speaking about video, if you like to watch videos to learn information, YouTube, that's what YouTube's there for. So I think that can be a really great way to kind of reframe it. Maybe you're not into this social media, perhaps how you think it is, but rather it can really be used as a learning tool.
Very good. Yeah, very true. And also blogs. So a lot of people, if you're not into necessarily
Yes.
hashtags and following people, that's just another way to consume information. Blogs is a good starting place, I think, for a lot of people who may
Twitter.
not claim that.
Yeah, that's a great point. And too, Pinterest. Sometimes people don't even think of Pinterest as social media,
That is true.
but it totally is interactive. And you can kind of have more privacy and organization of materials. So if there's articles that you like, you can save them to your Pinterest board. So I think, yeah, if you're not into social media, you should join us in supporting social media because it is definitely a learning platform.
You are listening to kNOwBOX Dance.
Here's another question. How can we, as kNOwBOX, keep the audience connected through our dance social media, through our platform? So what would you say, Martheya?
That's a great question, Reyna. Well, we talked a little bit about it earlier in the podcast about our evolving laboratories that we started. That's where each month we have a different dance-related resource that you can essentially follow or you can interact with. So that's one way. YeaJean, do you want to add to that?
Yeah, sure. Evolving Labs, it's really good because it's kind of digital library. We post references. Some of months you can follow that one, and then if you need any references, you can go and check books, articles, website. Another interesting in is like video relay. So we post 10 seconds video and then you make another video. So at the end we have, let's say, 50 people to make one video. And then we can submit some dance film festival. So there are a lot of ways to use kNOwBOX Labs to connect with people in all over the world in different dance perspectives.
And also just a shout out, we have what's called Artist Connection. And so this is where we're really facilitating a connection amongst artists. So each year in January, we just pre-select some artists and then we try to promote them on our social media accounts. So if you haven't already, go check us out on Instagram and Facebook, kNOwBOX Dance, and you can see who some of these artists are and see what their specialization is and their cost is and their email. So you can start to connect with these artists from all over the world already through a free platform.
Nice.
Cool.
And I have one last question for you guys. How do you think social media has changed the dance field?
Ooh, well, Azaria kind of spoke to this a little bit. I feel like it's made dance more accessible. And for those who don't necessarily have the space of like a theater or anything like that, they have the space of, they can go into a site-specific place, video something, and then, upload it to any platform that's available to them. And that's just like, that to me, that's what I'm thinking. Do y'all have any?
I would add on to that is just the way people are starting to learn dance as well. You can go onto YouTube and take tutorials and learn how to do a certain turn or a certain style. So many people are learning how to dance through social media as well.
Yeah.
I'm using social media a lot in my class. I teach in university, and it's kind of their inventory, digital inventory. For composition class, I asked them take a picture outside or post some videos, articles that you
that so makes it's like our archive.
Right. So it's kind of their CV too. Another, say, specific and dance film course, I asked them, let's say at the end of the semester, your new account, Instagram account, will be your kind of digital CV. So after you post all the videos and pictures, you write down what did I do for one semester to develop your artistic skills. Do you know what I mean? So it's kind of a lot of way, because also Instagram, you only can post 1 minute video. And I think this generation, we have different types of patient, So I think it's really important. How can you promote yourself in 1 minute? Like advertisement, you only have 20 seconds to promote your product. So there are a lot of approaches you can use social media in dance, I think.
Yeah, I totally agree with you, YeaJean. I just want to speak to that a little bit too. Recently, I was interviewed by Voyage Dallas magazine, and they asked me a similar question about how social media changed the dance field. And I feel like, yeah, it's really changing not only the performers, like you're speaking to, of creating this digital CV, but it's really changing the audience. So perhaps in the past, the audience was satisfied with a 2-hour performance where they could just stay passive in their seats. But now I feel like we're really seeing a big shift in the audience wanting to be able to be a part of the experience of dance. They're staying away from being a passive audience member, but rather because of Instagram, because of Facebook, because of social media, and this immediacy that it allows for the participant to interact. That's what we're starting to see more, I feel like, in dance. So I think that that's such a huge impact that social media has made on the dance field, is this shortened time span and this desire to participate and to be included in the experience.
I think that's a really great point. The audience can see the process, not just see the product. They can be in the process, right?
Oh, totally.
Yeah.
Yeah, and they're participating in whatever's evolving out of that performance.
That's nice.
So as we wrap up, I just wanted to say thank you to our new team members for joining us here at kNOwBOX Dance.
Yes, thank you.
And thank you to those of you who have already participated in our evolving laboratories. We really hope that we can stay connected with you in our digital space. We hope that you guys will all tune in to our future episodes where we interview people with dance-related careers, questioning the influence of social media in dance process, production, and publicity. So whether you are a dance artist, educator, scholar, or perhaps you're just curious about the impact of social media on dance, this is the podcast for you. Be sure to follow us on social media at kNOwBOX Dance. Thanks, everyone. Bye.
Thank you.
Thanks for taking your time to tune into Dance Behind the Screen, a bi-monthly interview series where we go behind the screen to question process, product, and social media. Be sure to follow us on social media at kNOwBOX Dance. See you next time, and don't forget to say no to the box.